Aloha, my name is Macy Westbrook, and I will be conducting the 2023 HIR Vaccine for Children Order and Inventory Training. This mandatory training will allow providers to move away from paper entry, be retrained on HIR orders and inventory, and assist providers with long-term reporting and dose-for-dose accountability. Before we get started, please take a minute or two to make sure you have the following windows and items present before we go through the presentation. 1. Working internet. Is your computer able to connect to the internet? 2. Capable browser connection. The browser we'll be using today is in Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. If you use another browser window, you may not have the same results in loading your page. 3. The ability to log into HIR. Before this presentation, you should have had a username and password provided to you to log into the Hawaii Immunization Registry. You will need to have that username and password ready to log in. If you have had any issues with this, please reach out to the email provided within the video at registryhelp@doh.hawaii.gov. This will be the best place to email your questions if you are watching this presentation. 4. Updated vaccine list for your facility. This will help you update the system if you have any modifications, corrections, or deletions that need to take place. So, what are some other things that you may need to look out for while watching this presentation? 1. During this presentation, we will also be using the training version of HIR to explain how to 1. Manage your inventory, 2. Record your inventory, and 3. Order inventory. Please note, during this presentation, we will have case examples of what inventory will look like, but none of them are from real sites and are here for only demonstration purposes only. Lastly, if you have any questions that may arise throughout the presentation, please reach out to the email provided on the screen at registryhelp@doh.hawaii.gov. Now that we've covered the items you'll need to help you get started, let's jump into what you can expect from this training. During this presentation, you will also learn, apply, and understand how to successfully enter, update, and order inventory. This will be broken down into 3 steps. Step 1, reviewing inventory. Step 2, simplifying the ordering process. And Step 3, successfully submitting an order. It is important throughout each step you pay close attention to what happens and how each step can make your facility's long-term vaccine planning and reporting processes easier in the long run. Please log into the Hawaii Department of Health Registry, HIR, by clicking on Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Once you have done this, click on the link that was provided to you in your pre-training checklist or from the Department of Health. That should take you to the Hawaii Immunization Registry. So for this part of the training, I have this already populated to take me directly to the Hawaii Immunization Registry. However, you'll want to go into your pre-training checklist in order to find the link above right here. So then when you click it, you will be taken to the Department of Health Hawaii Immunization Registry. Here you will see on the left-hand panel where it'll ask you for your username and password that you gathered earlier along with additional information. So when you see this, you'll want to enter your org code. For me, it'll be DOH. Then you'll want to enter your username, and then you'll want to enter your password. So I'm going to enter my password, and I'll give you some time also to enter your password and username and org code that was provided to you. At this point, you'll also want to find the information that you'll need for the rest of the presentation if you didn't gather that from the previous slide. At this point, once you've entered your username, password, you'll want to click Login. At this point, you may have something that populates down here that says login attempt was unsuccessful. If this populates for you, it will be in bright red. And if this is the case, this means that you're going to want to email the registry help at doh.hawaii.gov. So I'm going to click login, And if I have successfully entered my password, like yourself, your screen will look similar to the one that I have up here. So once you've logged in, you will have this screen similar to this. And for our training, we'll be focusing on the left-hand pane under the label inventory. So we'll be looking at manage inventory, record inventory, and manage orders. Now that you can log into HIR, we're going to focus on the 3 steps you will learn throughout this presentation. Step 1, manage inventory. Step 2, record inventory. And step 3, manage orders. In step 1, you'll want to remember the following as we get started. Managing inventory is where you update your inventory on a monthly, weekly, or a particular cadence that works for your facility. This in turn allows your facility to save time while keeping the Department of Health updated. Step 1 allows you to view, add, change alerts on vaccines, view active, inactive, non-expired, and expired vaccines at your facility you may need to look up for reports. It also gives users the ability to ask questions about products, see if you have had enough product, modify the product already in your inventory, along with rectifying mistakes and seeing what users modified to products and transactions that took place over time. As a provider, keeping this section updated on a continued basis will not only help your facility, but move it towards dose-for-dose accountability in the future. Remember, the key to step 1 is to keep your inventory as updated as possible to reduce your workload. Now let's see how to navigate step 1, manage inventory. In the left-hand pane, you'll notice where it says inventory. For the purpose of this presentation, we will be going through step 1, step 2, and step 3. In step 1, manage inventory here, we'll be looking at this first. So please click on manage inventory. Here, you'll be taken to this screen right here, and you'll see the top where it says manage inventory, so you know that you're on the correct screen. Then you'll see a couple of other information where it says inventory alerts, as well as active inventory that is going to expire or expired lots with a quantity. So this page right here is where you'll come every single time that you need to update your inventory for your site, and any additional information, say if you need to make modifications as well to your inventory. This is the landing page before you will come and do that. So now that I've kind of given you more of a breakdown of information, let me go through the buttons that are up at the top. Up at the top, you will see where it says show inventory. And the show inventory button, this will take you to a screen where it'll give you an overview of the inventory at your site that you have entered electronically. So at your site, you will have a physical copy of what your inventory looks like that you have, but you will also have an electronic version of what that looks like, and you can find that under show inventory. Then under show transactions, you will see how many transactions that you've had over the course of how many times that you've updated this site, and then you have update alert preferences, and then you have cancel. Anytime you see cancel while we're going through this presentation, it will return you to the previous screen. So that gives you a nice little overview of this first screen. So now we're going to break down additional questions you may have as you're going through additional slides. So back on the manage inventory slide for step 1, we've gone through what this page is, what you're going to break down information for, and kind of just the basic overview. So now we're going to click show inventory. And on this page, you're going to be brought to the next screen here. Here you will see your active, inactive, non-expired, as well as expired vaccines. Something I want to note while we're looking at this screen is on your end, you may not have any inventory updated here, and that is perfectly fine. That could just be because you haven't gone in or entered any inventory into your site yet for the Hawaii Immunization Registry, or HIR. However, when you start to come in and update your step 1, manage inventory, this right here is a basic breakdown of what your facility inventory will look like. So the physical copy that you have, say, in front of you right now should look identical to what is on the screen. So now that we've kind of given a basic overview of your active, inactive, non-expired, and expired vaccines that you'll enter, and you can see your inventory over time, we're going to go through how you can add inventory on a particular cadence. So say for the facility that I'm working for right now, it's the HIR training clinic, and I'm in provider level 2. So that being the case, so when you come in here, the HIR training clinic, we update our information on a monthly basis. So that means our inventory down here will be updated on a monthly basis because we want to come in, we want to make sure that this information is congruent with our current physical inventory that we have at our site. So since I'm updating this since it's been about a month, I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some inventory to our site. Some things to note when you hit I'll go back for a second. So when you click the Add Inventory button right here, it'll take you to a page that says Add Vaccine Inventory Information. So since I'm adding information to my site for the HIR training clinic, I'm going to make sure that I have everything in blue font right here filled out. If I don't fill out this information, that means that that particular vaccine will not go through. So for the purpose of this training, our site this month is going to input 3 vaccines because we've just added them because they've come in from an order. So we received Ingerix B Peds, and this will be the NDC that populates with a GG1030 lot number and an expiration date of 1/25/2024. Funding program is public. You will know what this is. It can be public or private, but most likely it's going to be public because this is vaccine for children, and the lot is active. Just kind of making a note here, you can't enter any inactive vaccines when you're coming into HIR. And the quantity on hand will be 20. So I'm going to save this information, and as I save it, I can know that it was saved successfully because at the bottom it will say inventory was inserted successfully. So I'm going to go back to my list from my physical list that's in front of me. That could be a paper list or it could be in an Excel file, and I'm going to add in the second item that I want, and that is going to be Gardasil 9 with the first NDC number, and we're going to put in RR 1039 for our lot number. The dose will automatically populate. Oh, okay, so this is another thing. So you see how I started inputting this information here, and this is very easy to do. So when you come in to HIR, every single time you're going to want to click Add New. If you don't click Add New, you run the risk of overwriting the previous vaccine that was already updated here. So I'm going to click Add New, and this will automatically be forwarded into a new document, so it will add that new vaccine. But just like I was going through, it's very easy to mistakenly not update that vaccine. So now we're going to go back, we're going to add in the Gardasil 9, and then the NDC, the first NDC, and the D1090. The dose will automatically populate, and then we will have an expiration date of 12/25/2023 with 20 on hand. So we're going to save this, and you will see that it will have updated for a quantity on hand of 20. And I also have the opportunity to modify this. Say I didn't add in enough Gardasil. So I'm going to add 10 and then say it was an error correction and then save this. So you can see now that there are 30 of Gardasil 9 that are at my site currently. So from here, I'm going to click cancel. And so now you can see where we've added in. So we added Gardasil 9 in here, and we added Injurix Peds in here. So it'll, every single time, if you really want to make sure it went through, you can come back to the original screen and verify. So now you can see that there are our 2 Gardasil 9s here with different lot numbers and different expiration dates. So that's okay. And I think just a word of warning. Usually, if it's the same lot number, it will merge. But just given this presentation, well, this is fine, but this is what it would look like. So these are the 2 we added in. So now we're going to add some more inventory. So we are going to add Daptocel with this NDC and this particular lot number and a expiration date 11/25/2023, funding program public, lot active yes, quantity on hand 40. So we're going to save this, and then we are going to click cancel. So we've already gone through modifying the quantity on hand, understanding where you can read that, and now we're going to click cancel to return back to where our inventory is located on the first screen. So we recognize we added in Injurix Peds as well as Gardasil 9, and we added in, I believe it was the Daptocel. So we've added these 3 products. So now I want to go through, say you don't need to add in this, you don't need to add in any more inventory because your inventory is down here. You already see the lot number. So something you can do when you come in here is you can click the overall inventory that you already have and just add to it because you received more doses and it's still the same lot number. So that's something else that you can do. So I'm going to click cancel out of here, and I'm going to go into this Daptocel, and I accidentally input this, so I'm actually going to delete it. So this is a way that you can come in and you can delete an item. So this pop-up is going to come up here and it says, are you sure you want to permanently delete this lot? I'm going to hit yes. So now we only have 2 Daptocels, 2 Gardasil's, and 2 Quadricels. So this will be our current non-expired vaccines. Also, when you add inventory, it will show up in your active list. It shouldn't show up anywhere else. And anything that's highlighted or populates as highlighted is soon to be expired vaccines. So this completes the second portion of step 1 of adding in your information, modifying a quantity, as well as deleting it and understanding the different parts of inactive, active, non-expired, and expired, and looking at that on your electronic version. So now we're going to go to step 2.
In step 2, we learn the importance of recording our inventory, the process in which we must submit an order, and how frequently we should keep our records updated. Step 2, record inventory, is a necessary step that must be completed before moving to step 3, manage orders. If you do not record your inventory in step 2, you cannot submit the order in step 3. Additionally, if you do not do step 2 and step 3, the same day, your order will not be placed. Both steps have to be completed the same day. As a provider, you have the option to update your inventory entirely in step 2 if you would like. However, This is extremely time consuming, and we suggest that you update your inventory in step 1 on a regular cadence to expedite orders as quickly as possible between steps 2 and 3 when you go in to update your inventory in step 2. If you pick a time every month or how frequently you order, it will be easy to keep your inventory updated. Let's learn more about step 2.
Now that we've just finished going through the processes that occur in step 1, which is manage inventory, that now leads us to step 2, which is record inventory. If you don't know where I'm at right now, please look over to the left-hand pane under inventory. So far we've gone through step 1, manage inventory, and now we're in step 2, record inventory. In the left-hand pane, when you're under record inventory, please click this. Now you'll be directed to another screen where you have information that says inventory on hand list, and then you'll be presented with different inventory on hand lists that your facility has placed over time. Some may be open or some may say submitted. Once you're on this page, please click enter new inventory on hand. From here, you will see in the right upper hand corner buttons that say print screen, save, save and submit, use ending inventory, and cancel. We'll be going through these buttons, how to navigate them, as well as additional information. When you are presented with this screen, you might have a couple of questions such as, why is this information pre-populated on your screen but mine isn't? And why might I need to use the manual vaccine entry at the bottom? So we'll be going through those here in a couple of minutes. So at the top right here, in step 1, which was manage inventory, we input our inventory that we had at our physical site. And so when we do that in step 1, that allows this information here that we see in step 2 to pre-populate. So that is why this information is really nice and clean, and you can see the HIR inventory on hand, which is what we just saw in our prior screen when we entered our inventory and updated it. However, if say when you come in here, you might be running low on time, you didn't have time to go through step 1, you can just come in and manually enter the vaccines in order to submit your order that you will need to have this submitted first, because you have to record your inventory so the Department of Health knows what you have on hand. But if you didn't update it in step 1, which would allow it to pre-populate here, then you'll have to manually enter it. Just a note, if you enter it here, none of this information will then be transferred back into step 1, manage inventory. This is just a snapshot of information that's going to be sent, so then DOH knows what your inventory is and if it's fluctuated. Step 1 is more or less an easy way for you to keep your inventory updated at your site, and then just keeping that up to date. So now that we've gone through the difference between why this has been updated versus what you might be using this for, now we're going to go through why it's really important, or the things that are really important to keep updated on this page. So say you come in here, you've already updated step 1, now you're in step 2. What you're going to want to have on hand coming through this are the doses that have been administered since the last time you updated your inventory, and that will go in this box right here, this column, and that will happen for every single vaccine or product that is in your inventory that has been depleted. Please note that, say if you updated your inventory in step 1 and this is the same, this will also be the same. However, if it isn't and it isn't 30, say you put in 2, you administered 2 and it's still 30, it could still be this number. Really, the Department of Health just wants to make sure this information lines up with what your physical inventory at your site is. So please make sure that this information gets input here for recording purposes. Something else that I want to make sure comes through is, and this is a really, really big reason why inputting your information in step one from your on-site inventory is important, is you actually can come through here and update this pretty quickly if you have it already in the system. So when we come back up here to the top portion of the screen where it says use ending inventory, you can pre-populate all this information. Due to the fact that I am recording this, it will not allow me to edit the administration column. However, where you're at home, you can go through and get rid of the zeros in here. Say if you had administered, yet again for the Daptocel here, administered say 5, and you can enter 5. And then this would be 30 or whatever is at your current site, depending on if you'd updated this prior to coming in here or not from the last time you were in step one. So really it makes it very easy for you as a site administrator to make step two very easy, to then go to step three to record your order, to then make the entire process go through. So I'm going to click cancel to go back to the prior screen, so then we kind of go through this process again. So I'm going to click enter new inventory on hand, and I'm going to go through how you would come in here and enter all this information. So say you had 5 doses that you administered, that would come in here, you'd enter that. Please note that if you have the same product, you're going to want to make sure that the ones that are administered are ones that have expiration dates before this one right here. So this is in 2025, so we're going to want to administer this one before this product. So we administered 5, so maybe this is 25 now. It could still be 30. We didn't administer any of this. This is still 20. Pentacel, we didn't administer any of this. This is 20. We didn't administer any of this because there are multiple quadricels, and the other one has an expiration date before this one, so we administered 10 quadricels, and so we have 30 at our site. And then for Hep A peds, we didn't administer any, and we still have 20 at our site. And I'm going to go through and mark off the rest because we didn't administer any, and that is what it was for our site. So really these two columns are going to depend on your facility, how often you come in, how much product you use on a regular basis, but it's really pertinent that you complete step one because it'll make this process a lot quicker and faster for you in the long run when you really want to come in and edit this before you place your order. So once you've completed everything on this screen, you'll hit save or save and submit, and I'll hit save and submit. One thing before we hit OK is you can only save one order form once a day. So just remember that. You can come back and do another one for another day, but you can only submit one per day. So we verified that these were our doses that have been administered in our physical inventory on hand. We verified that, so we're going to click OK. And so then we're presented with the screen, and then it will have your doses administered column and then your physical inventory on hand. So we're going to press cancel. Then we'll be brought back to this screen right here. You can see who entered the inventory on hand list for this period of time, when it was entered in the status. So this step right here, step 2, has to be completed before step 3, and it's pretty vital that you enter your information because it will make it a lot easier for you in the long run. So this completes step 2, and let's get started with step 3.
Which leads us to step 3. We are almost done with the inventory and order management process. Like step 2, You will look at the left-hand pane under Inventory. This time you'll be looking for Step 3, Manage Orders. Items to remember about Step 3: you complete this once a month or on a different cadence depending on your facility. It must be completed after Step 2 to complete the order process, and there are delivery dates and times present that need to be updated according to your facility's preference. If the dates and times are wrong, this means that vaccines can be sent to your location at the wrong time, leading to spoiled vaccines, which we do not want. Let's continue to learn more about Step 3.
Which leads us to Step 3. So far, we've been able to go through Step 1, Manage Inventory, Step 2, Record Inventory, and now we're moving on to Step 3, Manage Orders. In the left-hand pane, we'll now click Manage Orders. It will take us to a similar page, or yourself to a similar page like this one. In the top half, it will say, "Attention, please ensure vaccine delivery information is correct before placing an order. If this information is incorrect, please contact the Hawaii Immunization branch." And this really depends on if you're on Oahu or neighboring islands. So beneath this, it will say create an order, and then we'll have your provider information, your PIN, delivery contact, address, telephone information, and delivery days and times. So it's very pertinent that when coming in here in the third step to then create that order after you've recorded your most recent on-hand inventory and administrations, that you know where your newest order will be delivered. So we're going to come into the edit delivery days and hours and say most recently on Fridays, we no longer will be accepting vaccines in the afternoon. So we're going to come in and edit this, and then we're going to click save. So just due to the nature of where I'm at, this is the only thing as a user you can edit are the delivery days and times. So we're going to click the backspace button. You might be able to click cancel to come back to here, but due to the fact that I'm in a different training region using this, that's what I have to do. So as a facility, what you're going to want to come in and do is make sure that your delivery days and times are correct so it matches your facility, so vaccine isn't unnecessarily going to be wasted or spoiled if it comes to your site at the wrong time. Make sure this information is correct, and also if this information on the left hand side isn't correct, you're going to need to reach out to the information above. So making sure all of this is correct at the beginning will save you time and energy down the road. So now that we've looked at this, we're now going to create our order. So let's click create order, and we'll have this pop up that says, please confirm your delivery information is correct, like I just went over. And so since we've already done that, we're going to click correct or OK. And then we'll be presented with the order form, which is really exciting. So it's kind of like you're going into Amazon and you kind of get to go down your wish list of items that you want to order. So basically, these are things at the Department of Health that you can order for your facility depending upon what your needs are. And this really just varies from facility to facility. This month for the HIR training clinic, we really don't need a lot. We're gonna get 10 of Kenrix, and we're gonna get a little bit more of MMR2, but other than these two products, we don't need a lot this month. And I know depending on the facility, you're going to probably need more than this if you're a larger facility, but say you're a smaller facility coming in here, you're ordering less. That's kind of probably what you're going to be ordering. So this is what we're ordering this month. And so we're going to hit submit order. And in the process of this, it will have a pop-up box that comes up again. It says, press the OK button to submit this order to the Hawaii Immunization branch for review and process, plus press the cancel button to remain on the screen. So we're going to press OK. And from here, we now have a pending order. So we can come back in and we can see what our order was. So we ordered 10 doses of Kenrix and 20 doses of MMR2. And if there's anything else that we really wanted to add to this order, we could come back and add to this order, or we can even cancel this order, which is perfectly fine. However, coming back to the home screen again, in order to do this, we need to make sure the status still says pending. The only time you can change your order is really while it still says pending, because that means that the Department of Health really hasn't come through and approved your order to be sent to CDC. So there are different statuses here that it could say. So it could say pending, accepted, sent to CDC, denied. Really, if it says denied, that doesn't really happen a lot. But really, you just want to focus on if it still says pending, you forgot something, you could come back in, you can add to the order. Also, if you need to cancel the order, you can cancel the order. So I'm going to come back, and then you can look at your order historical list as well as all-time list and what has happened at your facility or your site. So this concludes the three-step process of being able to manage your inventory, update and record your inventory, and create an order.
In conclusion, to successfully update your inventory and submit an order, it is important to remember the following. Managing your inventory on a frequent basis will reduce your workload if you understand your inventory and ordering needs and keep them on a designated schedule for your facility. By recording inventory in HIR on a schedule, you in turn will improve the overall inventory and reporting process for the state of Hawaii and your facility. Thank you for coming to this live demo on HIR inventory and orders. If you have any additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Noel Aviles at the emails on this screen. Or if you have additional questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to registryhelp@duh.hawaii.gov. After this presentation, we would like to also invite you to participate in our training feedback survey. Please look for this in your email. Mahalo.